All right, welcome back. This is it, the final part of our series where we're building a complete full-stack app with the Kiro Agentic ID.
So in part 2, we got our backend API totally sorted out. Today we're bringing it all together. We're going to build the React front end, we're going to define our AWS infrastructure as code, and yeah, we're going to deploy this whole thing to a live production URL. So let's just get right into it.
Okay, first things first. Before we even think about writing any new code, we gotta get organized. We need a solid structure for a full stack project, something that can handle everything we're about to throw at it.
So we're just going to ask Kiro to handle this restructure for us. And what's super cool to watch here is that it's not just, cutting and pasting files. It's intelligently updating all the necessary imports, the package configurations, and the workspace settings. It really shows you that Kiro gets the entire project as a whole, not just a bunch of loose files. And honestly, this is the whole point. Full stack in one IDE. Front-end, back-end, infrastructure, your database models, your React components, your cloud services. It's all right here. No more jumping between windows and losing your train of thought. It's just total coherence. All right, structure's done. Now for the fun part. Let's build the front end. And we're going to use the exact same powerful, specs-driven approach that worked so well for the back end. It all kicks off with one simple prompt. We're literally just going to tell it what we want in plain English. And Kiro takes that idea and just turns it into this super detailed blueprint for the app. The best part is it tells you all the assumptions it's making right up front, so there are zero surprises later on. And this is just a perfect example of how this whole spec thing works. The requirements.md file, that's the what. When a user does this, then this should happen. But the design.md file, that's the how. That's the technical nitty-gritty, the component hierarchy, which state management libraries to use, the whole shebang. So the spec becomes your absolute single source of truth for the entire project. Yeah, the same spec approach works for the front end. It's this consistent workflow from a high-level idea to a detailed spec and then to code that makes this whole process so unbelievably fast and, maybe more importantly, reliable. It doesn't matter if you're on the back end or the front end. Okay, the spec looks good. Time to unleash the autopilot. This is the fun part, seriously. We just kick back and watch it take that blueprint and write all the actual code for us. The React components, the custom hooks, all of it. And man, this is where Kiro really shows its stuff. The tech stack it picked, it's perfect. We've got React 18 with Vite, which is super fast, Tailwind for styling, which is awesome, and check out the state management. It's using React Query for server state and Zustand for client state, like Auth. That's a textbook best practice right there. It keeps the whole app really clean and performant. But it's not just about the libraries. It's the little things, right? Kiro isn't just spitting out hello world code. It's building in things you actually need for a real application. Like we get loading skeletons, proper error handling, ARIA labels for accessibility, and of course, it's fully responsive. It's the whole package. And that's the whole point. This is production React, not tutorial shortcuts. We're building something solid and maintainable right from the start, not some flimsy demo that we'd have to completely rewrite later. Okay, so we've got our front end, we've got our back end. Now, where are we going to run this thing? We need some infrastructure. And guess what? It all starts with another prompt. We're just going to ask Kiro to generate an AWS CDK stack. Now, if you haven't used CDK before, it's amazing. It basically lets us define all our cloud infrastructure using TypeScript. And just look at what it comes up with. This is a classic, battle-tested serverless setup. The React app is on S3, served up by CloudFront for global speed. The backend is on Lambda, so we only pay when it actually runs. API gateway is the front door, DynamoDB for the database, and the most important part, Kiro figures out all the tricky IAM permissions so everything can talk to each other securely. That alone saves so much headache. So yeah, infrastructure as code generated from the spec. And that's what's so powerful here. This isn't some random generic template. It's custom built for our exact application because it came from the very same plan. It's a perfect fit from day one. Okay, this is it. The moment of truth. Code's done, infrastructure is defined, all the pieces are in place. Let's do this. Let's deploy our app and get it live for the world to see. Believe it or not, it's just 3 commands. We build the React app, we deploy the entire AWS stack, and then we sync our files up. That's it. We're going to watch CloudFormation do its magic, and in a few minutes, we'll have a live, public URL from CloudFront. 5 minutes from code to a production URL. And you know what's even better? we can wrap this entire sequence up in something called a Kiro hook. That means a single command to deploy everything. A simple, repeatable, one-click deployment pipeline. It's awesome. So our application is now live. It's running on AWS. Before we wrap this all up, let's just take a quick moment to look back at everything we've accomplished in this series.
Think about this for a second. Kiro generated over 50 files for this project. And I'm not just talking about code files. That's backend routes, database models, front-end components, state stores, infrastructure definitions, config files, the whole deal. How long would that take you to do by hand?
50+ production quality files in about 45 minutes total across this whole series. For a senior developer to do all of this from scratch, you're easily looking at 2, maybe 3 full days of solid work. The speed increase here it's just insane.
So what's the big takeaway here? Well, it's pretty clear that working with specs isn't just about speed. It's about quality. It forces you to build better, more maintainable systems. Hooks automate all the boring stuff away. And for the first time, it feels like we actually have living documentation, code, and infrastructure that are always in sync. It's a real game changer.
So it leaves me with this question. Are we moving away from just coding and more towards architecting? Is our main job now to describe the what and let tools like this handle the how? I'm really curious what you think, so drop a comment below. The full source code for this project is linked in the description, so you can try this all out for yourself. And hey, if you liked this, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the future of software.